Hey, this is John Carlos, and I'm here with a look at the Marvel Legends Infinite Series action figure of Captain America the Winter Soldier from the new movie. It's Steve Rogers in his new strike suit. He comes with a few accessories like an alternate maskless head, a finger-pointing left hand, and a judo chop right hand. He also comes with a piece of the Build-A-Figure. The Build-A-Figure for this series is Mandroid, but I'm not going to be building the Mandroid figure, so he also comes with the instruction manual, so if you are going to build Mandroid, you'll know how to do it. And lastly, he comes with the shield, his new stealth suit blue shield. One of the things I like about this figure is the articulation is really good. You've got a hinge in the shoulder, but you've also got the ball swivel. There is double hinged elbows, which I really like. The wrists swivel, but they also have a hinge built into them. That's on both wrists. You've got, if you lift up the belt here, there's a swivel in the wrist and the mid-torso cut. I also appreciate that not only do the legs have good range of motion at the waist or at the hip area, but there's also a thigh cut and a boot cut. So I appreciate that. Double jointed knees. Honestly, if you want good articulation, this figure kind of has it all. It's got the hinge in the foot, but also the ball swivel in there, so you can kind of position the feet in any kind of way you really need to. And the head itself has a good range of motion. It's got the hinge at the top of the neck, and it's also got the another ball inside the top of the base of the head, so you can get the the double neck effect. Now we're going to take a closer look at the paint and the sculpting on this figure, and I'll tell you up front that the paint on this figure is really clean, but where this figure excels is the sculpting. Now you can see all along his pants and along the entire suit this tiny texturing, and it's a detail that really makes all the difference. You notice it from a distance, you definitely notice it up close. I mean, you look at the belt here, and the belt looks really good too. The little metal buckle is well done. Now, there are some nitpicks that I have with this that aren't totally screen accurate. He has cargo pockets on both sides of his pant legs that are missing on here. I can't help but wonder if this is based on an earlier design that was changed before it made its way to the big screen, or maybe Hasbro just got lazy and didn't want to make cargo pockets. I'm not really sure. The other thing is these little silver stripes that go across his chest. This one in the movie, the top one, comes down a little bit further, and that S.H.I.E.L.D. logo is a lot smaller. But this is a toy that is intended for, I think, all audiences, including kids, and they don't really need to get super detailed. If you want that kind of detail, I guess you could, hope for a NECA figure, or Hot Toys, that sort of thing. But for a Hasbro toy, I mean, for the most part, I'm being really nitpicky here. For the most part, this figure does look pretty good. I wouldn't expect them to make a S.H.I.E.L.D. logo that small for a Hasbro toy. It probably wouldn't register. But the helmet is where they really, I think, nailed it as far as screen accuracy goes. All the little grooves that go along the helmet, the texturing here, the lines that go across his helmet, the separation of the lines on the sides and where the silver paint is, this is a really good screen accurate helmet. I think they did a great job, even with the little sections of that little triangle on the strap. It looks really good. I think the chest turned out great. I like all the texturing even within the star itself. They did a good job with the little holes in the star. Now we'll just pop off the head and pop on this other one. Takes a little elbow grease to get it on there. You don't really hear the popping sound, but it is on there. It looks nothing like Chris Evans. It's just sort of a generic blonde guy's head, but from a few feet away you kind of get the idea. We'll also rotate his hands out. One thing I like about this hand is you don't need to pop it off to get his hand to fit into the shield. It kind of just slides right on in there. Whereas with this other hand, if you want to put it on the left hand, you have to pop it off to get the shield to go on. But first I'll show you the finger pointing hand, and then I'll show you how to assemble his hand over the little shield slot and pop it into the wrist peg there. And voila, there you go. Now, what's really cool about the double jointed elbow and the alternate hand is you can have him salute, so you can put him in a really patriotic pose. Or you can have him go back in time to World War II and join the wrong side. Here it is next to the 6-inch exclusive Avengers figure and the exclusive Captain America The First Avengers figure, which was later reissued under Marvel Legends and is no longer an exclusive. The First Avengers figure, when it first came out, seemed kind of short when the Avengers figures and the Thor figures came out, and this newest figure from the Winter Soldier is in the same height range as the Avengers, making the first one still a short little guy that doesn't match all the other figures. But I like his height compared to the Avengers figure. He's got just as much texture as that one, and I think it's a slightly more detailed figure. One little thing I'd just like to point out before we move on is the hinge on his left hand is not a hinge that moves inward like all the other ones. It's a hinge that moves up and down on the alternate hand. So I think that's kind of cool that it has a different hinge compared to the other ones. The articulation on this figure allows you to get it in some really cool poses, so that, coupled with the great sculpting and the good paint, makes for a really, really good figure. The Marvel Legends line, back when it was under Toy Biz, was a really, really good toy line, and then Hasbro took it over and it kind of sucked big moose balls for a while. But now, the Marvel Legends line is good again. In particular, I'm liking what they're doing with movie action figures. And if you're a fan of the Captain America the Winter Soldier, I think you're really going to like this figure. I certainly do, and I think it's totally worth 20 bucks. Now you may have noticed that this review looks a little different than my other reviews, and that's because I'm shooting in a different room and under some different lights. So if you have any opinions on it, whether you like it or don't like it, let me know in the comments. I'm curious to know what you think. Thanks for watching.